Well, I feel great after game one as the Celtics outscore the Warriors a million to not a million in the fourth quarter. First and foremost, the 3 point shooting from the Celtics between Derek White, Al Horford, Marcus Smart, Daniel Tice, Peyton Pritchard. The Warriors will tell themselves that those guys are not going to shoot that well again, but they did tonight. And yeah, with Tatum, I understand his shooting struggles were what they were in this game, and some of them were just misses that you don't even feel bad about the shots or anything. They were open looks, but the guy's passing was great. I think it was 13 assists, and with the way the Warriors guarded Tatum, they gave him the switch with Steph way more than they gave Luka the switch. And then I think the idea from there was bringing late help. And, sometimes it's going to lead to like that one where he got in the middle of the floor and it was Daniel Tice in the corner, and the Warriors will say, hey, it's Daniel Tice. He made the shot. Or it'll be that one where they brought two on the baseline, and then he had that skip pass to Marcus, who then kicked it to Horford for the three in the corner. That was not a Tatum assist, but that was Tatum doing the most with that play. There was that one where Time Lord slipped a screen, and Tatum just threw like a great bullet pass. That was like at the end of the first half. There was one in the fourth where it was like Derek White was going to set a screen for Tatum, but he didn't completely set the screen, if you will, but it still like froze Steph for a second. And then that gave Tatum a little bit of a runway to get it to Pritchard in the corner for a three. I got to talk about Jalen and his mini takeover in the fourth quarter when it seemed like this thing was kind of ending. He got a switch onto Jordan Poole, and he made a three over him. He had one where I think Otto Porter switched, but Jalen just kept moving around the screen, which is one way to beat a switch. It's don't stop after the guy switches. Just keep your momentum going in that direction. And that led to a lob for Time Lord. Speaking of Time Lord, I think as the game began and as it sort of went through whatever, it seemed like the Celtics didn't have a perfect place to put him. They started the game with him on Wiggins, which is something I did not bring up when I did my prediction, and then other people mentioned it, and I was like, oh yeah, that is an idea. They started the game with it, and was it super effective? I don't know, but he was on Iguodala during that fourth quarter for a bit. I think he was on Porter for a little bit at times, and there was one possession I remember where Time Lord blocked a Steph layup, basically from ignoring Iguodala the entire time. And that's going to be something this entire series. Where is he and just how can he be most effective? And can the Warriors make him pay, whether it is through handoff actions or, going at him on screens with Steph, because they did that a bit. And I mean, we saw pretty much every type of defense you could see on Steph Curry screens in this one. We saw the probably too much of a drop early on. They had some miscommunications, like where Horford was expecting Smart to pick up Steph after he just crossed half court, but he didn't, and then Horford's dropping, and it's like, wait a minute, what's happening? And that led to him getting 21 points early on. Time Lord didn't get up high enough on one screen for a pull-up and all that. But I think eventually, they had Time Lord switching onto Steph on one possession, which actually led to a Steph step back mid-range, but that was interesting. They had one play where Horford was real high up on the screen. I think this was in the fourth, and then Tatum, which is what they did most of the game, which is they had the initial defender do what you can to get around the screen, kind of stay attached to his back, whether it's him, Jordan Poole, Clay, whatever. And Horford and Tatum just kind of sandwiched Steph at the free throw line, and I think it led to a floater, which he missed. It seemed like they really didn't want to go to just straight traps. They did a couple times, one of which led to Draymond getting it in the middle of the floor. Iguodala cuts, gets a dunk. That's a classic Warriors play. I think another time it led to somebody else getting a layup. I don't remember who it was. So that'll be something to monitor, just how aggressive are the Celtics on Steph's screens as this thing goes. Besides that, I mean, general defense things for the Celtics, decent amount of switching off the ball. I think they took some things away. Sure, they got beat on some stuff, not that I remember it all off the top of my head right now. I remember one where Clay relocated off of a play that was kind of scrambled, and he just got a three over Pritchard, and that's going to happen sometimes. But there were also times where it's a switch, and suddenly the Warriors just are not getting a backdoor cut or whatever, which they did get, in the first quarter. I remember one where Steph beat Marcus on a backdoor cut, but as the game went on, it just seemed like the Celtics got a little more comfortable with just guarding the Warriors, which usually happens after teams go down 1-0. So that's cool. We saw a wing player or Marcus Smart guarding Draymond through parts of this game, and yeah, that does take away some handoff actions because it just gives you the ability to switch. But it didn't work all the time because, if you're trapping and you can get to the middle, then it is what it is. And also, when you do that, it again comes back to the idea of, well, who are the bigs now guarding? And it seems like that conversation's just going to be Time Lord throughout this thing. One quick play I want to talk about. This was midway fourth quarter, because I can see it on NBA.com now. They ran a pin down for Clay from Kevon Looney. Derek White and Tatum switched the action, and Horford ended up then stealing the pass from Draymond. But Kevon Looney did have position for a dunk because Derek White ended up on his back after the switch. But again, Horford stole the pass. But I'm sure the Warriors can look at that sort of thing and be like, hey, even if they're going to switch on us, that doesn't mean the guy's going to be in perfect position after the switch to deal with the next thing. So for what that means, we'll see. But yeah, man, I'm feeling good after game one. Not for my pick, but I don't want my pick to be right in this series.